Robozone is presented by First in Michigan, Michigan's premier provider of K-12 robotics programs. Kettering University, think differently, learn differently. Also brought to you by the DTE Energy Foundation. Blue Chip Talent, ridiculously good at advancing careers in IT and engineering. Stryker, discover your strengths and follow your passion with us. The Dow Chemical Company, the human element at work. Fanuc America, the leading supplier of robots, CNCs, and factory automation. Consumers Energy, encouraging your inner genius. Hungry Howie's Dough Raiser, your next fundraiser comes with flavored crust. And the Ford Steam Experience, inspiring the next generation of problem solvers.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Robozone. We are at the Milford District this week, and if you ask anybody, they'll tell you the one district that was going to probably feature the biggest teams and might be the best of the entire season here at Milford. But there are 5 districts going this week. It's incredible. Escanaba, Ypsilanti Lincoln, Gaylord, Richland, Gull Lake, and of course, here at Milford. All right, guys, we got a lot to get to this week. Kara will be in a little bit later in the show, but right now, let's learn up how the game Power Up is played.
Tell us about the game of Power Up. What's going on?
Our 2018 game is a 3-on-3 robot game. We play a match for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the first 15 seconds of which are autonomous. The other 15 are driven by high school students. There are 3 different sort of ways to score in this game. The first way that we're going to see a lot of is there are these yellow power cubes on the field. If you put the yellow power cubes on one of our 3 scoring structures and get that scoring structure to tip towards your color lights, you'll collect 1 point per second. You can do that on the middle one, which we call the scale, or on your side one, which we call a switch. At the end of the game, there are 2 different ways to score points. There are platforms on the sides of the scale. If you're on top of the platform at the end of the game, you're going to get 5 extra points. If you're hanging on a bar above 12 inches above the platform, you're going to get 30 points. There's also a way to pass cubes to your human player, and if you pass the cubes to your human player, they can put them in a vault. So once teams have the cubes in their vault, they can then choose to play that power-up at the most advantageous time for them. The vault then is worth 5 points a cube you put in there, but also enables some power-ups. The first power-up that we can talk about is Levitate. If you get 3 cubes in the Levitate power-up and hit the button, you're going to get a free hanging robot for 30 points. If you get cubes in either a boost or a force power-up, they'll get worth a little bit more the more cubes you put in, but the force power-up essentially will take control of some of our scoring structures for your alliance, giving you that 1 point per second for them. The boost power-up will double the value of all of the scoring structures you already control. So instead of 1 point per second, you'll get 2.
All right, let's get to our first bit of action, and we're going to send it north, way north.
After 5 years of hosting a robotics event in the Upper Peninsula, the one the most remote on the west side, Escanaba High. Adambots win a perfect 12-0 in the qualifying rounds, seeded first overall. Along with last year's Escanaba finalists, 4391 Gladstone High's Bravebots and D-Cube, the Adambots proceeded to sweep the playoffs, finishing the event 18-0, bringing home the blue banner. Team 245 stands at the top of the First in Michigan official rankings after 3 weeks of play. Where will they fare in the Robozone rankings? Stay tuned. 6.5 hours southeast of Escanaba, the Ypsilanti Lincoln District. The chalk, meaning the favorites, mostly held into the finals. It wound up a 1-versus-2 finale. The Numero Uno Alliance, comprised of 3604, the Goon Squad from Woodhaven, 3641 from the South Mayan schools known as the Flying Toasters, and 5067, the Steiner Steel Storm from the Rudolph Steiner School of Ann Arbor. Match 1 saw a no-holds-barred battle for the scale, both alliances throwing everything up, whether it stayed on top or not. Ultimately, a well-timed boost power-up brought the first seeds the initial victory. In the second match, the second-seeded alliance, captained by Dexter High's Dreadbots Team 3656, along with 5050 Cowtown Robotics from Carlton Airport and 6618 Flat Rocks Warbots, saw the first seeds miss their autonomous points, giving the second seeds the early lead. Precision placement solidified the twos to grab control of the scale, and they cruised to victory. That forced a winner-take-all showdown. But the tables turned in the last match as the second seeds missed their auton and never recovered their mojo, allowing the first seeds to keep control of the scale and end up at the top of the leaderboard. Congratulations, Goon Squad, Flying Toasters, and Steiner Steel Storm on their victory at the Lincoln District.
I can't do this without our whole team. It wasn't just one person on our team, it was all of our team combined. It feels great to win. It's something I haven't felt in a while, and especially because it's my last event because I'm a senior, it's good to go out with a bang.
Instead of giving power-up props to the teams, we're doing power-up props to the bots. We're here with Keon from Wings of Fire, Hall of Fame, Team 51. What's the coolest thing about your bot?
I will have to say the coolest thing about our robot is our intake.
What's the coolest thing about your robot, Team 3568?
We have a buddy lift, so another robot can climb onto our robot, and we have a ratcheting mechanism, meaning it won't come down.
Robozone will be right back.
DTE Energy is committed to giving back. So DTE employees volunteer thousands of hours working in over 450 communities with more than 280 charities across Michigan. Why? Because we don't just deliver energy. We want to empower people in the communities where we live and serve. DTE Energy. Know your own power.
Kettering University is a jewel among American higher education. We have some of the finest engineering and science and business programs in the country. All of our students spend half of their time in the classroom and also half of their time in the professional practice of their discipline. Connecting those two things is a powerful way to learn a discipline. We're famous for our contributions to the automotive industry, but we do so much more. We have some cutting-edge facilities in biomedicine and biomedical research, in applied physics and acoustics, some of the most amazing chemical engineering laboratories in the Midwest. All of these facilities are accessed and accessible by undergraduates. Virtually all of our students are employed upon graduation, usually 99 to 100% of our students. There's no other institution that prepares students quite as well as we do.
Welcome back to Robozone. I'm Kiera Hay. First wouldn't be possible without the amazing companies that sponsor and mentor teams. Stryker is a global med tech company that is driven to make healthcare better for everyone. They learned about the amazing things going on at FIRST Robotics, and the rest is history.
A number of years ago, a couple of us at Stryker got our first exposure to FIRST. We really didn't know much about it. And as we learned more and understood how the program worked and the mentorship, we looked at each other and said, if not us, then who? We're professional engineers designing surgical robots. We got to do something. And so that caused us to initially get involved. And once you get involved in FIRST, it is the most addictive thing. You're not going anywhere. Impacting these kids is the most life-changing thing you will ever do, and we are delighted. We work really, really hard to have the kids fully immersed. We want them to learn what working for a company that designs and builds robots would be like. And we structure the program to be very much like that. When these kids leave the program, they are headed off to college. They already know, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm good at. They are 2 to 3 years ahead in figuring their life out when they exit the program. That excites me unbelievably. At Stryker, as we look out over the next 10 years, the level of workforce we're going to need for surgical robotics and a number of the different systems that we build is pretty daunting. And so we're starting early. And when you think, where are you going to go get a spectacular workforce? FIRST Robotics. It's just a no-brainer. At Stryker, you will get to work on unbelievably cool stuff. When you think about FIRST and what you might want to do down the road, it doesn't get cooler than that.
All right, Kiera. Well, as we mentioned earlier in the show, we got some prime-time performers here at the Milford District. We're going to give you details of all of the playoffs, and let's start with the quarters.
Sponsored by General Motors Proving Grounds, this new expansion district event hosted by Milford High School for the first time. 5 attending teams had already won district events in 2018, and 2 more had been event finalists. All 3 of our Michigan Hall of Fame teams in the house. In the quarterfinals, just 2 weeks ago, the Hot Team and the Killer Bees squared off against each other in the Southfield Finals. But today, teammates on the #1 alliance, joining them, the Robo Cubs from UD Jesuit. Hot and the Bees dominated the center scale and easily swept the the 8th seed Alliance. In quarterfinal 2, the 4th and 5th battled it out, but the 4th Alliance fell to the double-scale onslaught from Lapeer Strike Zone and the Brighton Gems. Number 5 moved on to the semis. 2nd-seeded Flushing Raider Robotics, Pontiac Wings of Fire, and the Kingston Robo Cards made quick work of the number 7 Alliance with 2 easy wins, bada bing, bada boom. And with Gibraltar champion Heartland Electro Eagles and Kettering finalist Brighton Techno Dogs teaming up, the number 3 Alliance made quick work of the number 6 Alliance, owning the scale for all of both matches, sealing the deal with a 60-point double-team elevation ending match 2.
I've been the head mentor of this team for about 3 years now. I've been on the team for 4. Oh, we're doing great. We're doing everything we're supposed to do. We want to get back out there and keep running the same game we're running. Everything looks great. They're playing my song, so yeah, we're doing awesome. It's good. It's all good. We can put 9 cubes in the vault right out of the gate. That's awesome for us. And we got a really strong autonomous. It works really well. We're going to continue to play like that, hopefully.
The semifinals saw a 1v5 matchup in the 2nd versus the 3 seeds. In semis 1, the number 5 Blue Strike Zone Alliance controlled the center scale for the majority of the match, but the Red Alliance took it back with a double elevation of teams 67 and 33 for the win in match 1. In match 2, the number 1 Red Alliance commanded early control of the scale, and although failing to elevate in the endgame, still able to punch a ticket to the finals with a 363 to 260 victory. On the other side of the bracket, the number 2 Red Alliance struck hard in one of our closest playoff matches so far this year. Flushing snatches the scale just seconds into autonomous. Techno Dogs and Electro Eagles fight back with a double team, but Kingston 4994 pulls a sneak attack on the blue switch. Red claims the levitate power up for a 30-point bonus, and the vault points make the difference. Red up 1. Blue Alliance rallied back. Brighton pounded the red switch hard with 4 cubes, while Electro Eagle claimed the scale. Walled Lake's more monsters keep the blue switch in their control this time, despite the efforts of 4994. And the Blue Alliance pulls off the win despite a double climb by teams 51 and 55-61. The rubber match saw the number 3 Alliance finding the keys to victory with a crushing 367 to 207 win to move on to the Milford District Finals. Those highlights very soon.
Kiera Hay here, and it's time now for this week's first trivia. In 2009, Michigan changed to districts and a state championship. Name the 3 cities where the state championships have been held. We will have the answer when Robozone returns. Are you stuck in your job? Getting frustrated playing the waiting game for the next opportunity to advance your career? Let Blue Chip Talent help. As an award-winning talent acquisition company, our specialty is matching candidates with careers in IT and engineering. At Blue Chip Talent, we take a laser-focused approach to reaching your career goals. We have access to jobs you won't find anywhere else to help advance your career faster and easier. Plus, we take care of you. Employees receive industry-leading benefits and competitive perks. Don't waste another minute worrying, because we are ridiculously good at advancing careers.
I'm hoping there's some girls here today that never would have thought they would have wanted to be a scientist or a mathematician or engineer. I'm hoping there's girls now who think they might. That's what we're trying to do, is change those minds.
Back again. You know me. Pepperoni Asiago. Oh, he's so cute. What's his name? Pepperoni Asiago. I just want to eat him up.
Flavor fanatics love us because we make our dough fresh daily and only use 100% real mozzarella. Now get meal deals for any budget. Hungry? Howie! Flavor fanatics welcome.
Genius is not born. It's nurtured. It's curious. Genius takes teamwork, patience. It keeps going until that moment when it shines. Introducing the Generation Genius Project, a consumer's energy educational initiative to inspire a passion in science, technology, engineering, and math. Discover the genius in all of us.
Welcome back to Robozone. I'm Kiera Hay. Before the break, we asked you what are the 3 cities that have held the state championships. The answer is Ypsilanti, Grand Rapids, and Saginaw.
All right, we're going to continue now and get to part 2 of our Robozone Roundup, and let's go back up north, this time to Gaylord.
Two Northern Districts took place in Week 3 and one Gaylord, and we saw some crazy upsets into the finals. In Finals 1, we saw a back-and-forth battle for the scale. The third seeds were made up of the Titanium Tigers from Fenton, Team 51-14, 37-67 Titan from Traverse City West, and 56-60 ART Atherton Robotics Team from Atherton High. The third alliance took the initial victory. With the fourth seed needing a win to stay in it, they panicked under pressure, dropping cubes left and right. The third waited out the initial offensive for the scale before playing their boost to bring home the win. Well done, Blue Alliance. We go west now to the Gull Lake District in Richland. The second seed alliance consisted of Team 51-52 Autobots from Otsego, 58-43 St. Clair High's Flurb, and 72-56 Ionia High's Irish Robotics in the second championship. The second seeds missed their switch in Auton, giving the first seed a huge early lead. An additional 55 penalty points by the second seed gave the first seed the win and a shot at the comeback. So in the last match, the first seeds took home the blue banner as the second seeds missed their switch again, giving the number ones a 30-point lead they never gave back. Props to Captain 35-38 Robo Jackets from Auburn Hills Avondale, 60-90 Wayland Wildcats, and 44-53 the Red Hot Chili Bots from Marshall.
During the match, my mind was just on the match. I could not think of anything else. I couldn't hear the music. I couldn't hear the crowd. All I could see was that robot putting the cubes in the exchange. We just tried to make sure we had communication the entire time, make sure we had our plan going in, we didn't deviate from it, and it worked out.
All right, so now we've seen what's happened elsewhere across the state. Now we got to figure out, how did things shake out in the finale here in Milford?
It was finally finals time, and in red, only two of the winningest teams in the history of Michigan competitive robotics. In blue, some local schools boasting two rising stars with an already proven ability to win at Power Up, but they don't stand a chance, right? This is why we play the game. Match 1 saw the hot team zip out and claim the scale seconds into the autonomous mode. Both red strikers immediately score again in the first few moments of teleop, but on the second volley, the Killer Bees slammed their intake into the bottom of the scale plate. Their lift chain snapped. Unable to elevate to score on the scale, the Bees try to attack the blue switch, but to no avail. The Techno Dogs steal the red switch, and the Electro Eagles take back the scale. Blue dominates match 1 with a landslide 425-115 victory. Dan Kimura and Jim Zondag now with the call of finals match 2.
Thanks, Lauren. So looks like in that first match, the Killer Bees robot, that 33 robot, broke some lift chains when they were going to score a cube. They came up underneath the scale, and then you could actually see it. Their arm came down, and they were not able to score high for the rest of that match. We know they've been frantically working on it between the matches, but it doesn't look like it's fixed. So expect that 33 robot to come out and play a little bit of a different role this match. So here we go in autonomous mode.
And the hot team zipping out first to the scale, up high, and a score for red.
Very clean by 67, getting it early. And blue answers back, but again, you can see the score were already, 39-19. Red took a big advantage there, getting those points early. So here are in driver control. You can see that 33 robot looking to cross the field. So it looks like they might be either trying to steal those cubes or make a play for the Blue Alliance's switch.
Yeah, we got the Robo Cubs for red. Looks like they're subbing in for the Killer Bees, doing a double attack on the scale for red with hot.
Yep, and if they both make those, it could have balanced the scale, but one make, one miss. So blue still has control of that scale in the middle, and you can see in our foreground here, the Blue Alliance also making an attack on the Red Alliance switch.
Yeah, the Brighton Techno Dogs, look at this. They've got 3 in there in just a few seconds, going in for a 4, quickly taking control of the Red Alliance switch, taking all those points.
And it's just so fast from their human player there, right? Like, that's their human player dropping those cubes in, and that distance is so short. I mean, 5 already, here comes 6. Nope, they've got other plans for that cube.
Yep, all the way downfield, going to put it in their own switch, with the Killer Bees still working desperately to take some advantage for red.
Right, and we can see that battle for the scale has been really close all match long. It's tilting back to neutral, maybe back to red's favor. But if you look at the 2 switches on the side, blue has firm control. They're up multiple cubes on both sides, and the score is just starting to run away.
Yeah, and the Red Alliance, again, coming back, the Robo Cubs up high. Looks like they're still going to try to put another one on the scale, but the scale full on both sides. Red Alliance struggling to put another one on and take back some form of control.
Yeah, and this is that point in the match where they're just so full that that precise placing is what matters. Another drop cube. Red does have it tipped back, but I think Blue still had their force, and I think Blue's played their force here.
Yeah, and Blue, again, with both switches, still Red really struggling to get any points, down by over 100 with just 15 seconds left as we go into the end game.
Yeah, so we get to see 67 with their assisted climb here, where they're going to try to bring their partner up. But even that is not going as cleanly as we would expect. And what we saw on the Blue Alliance there was almost more interesting. 2 single hanging robots taking turns to set their hook and going up simultaneously. So a lot of teamwork there, a lot of practice. And this one, unfortunately, with 33's robot not working as we are accustomed to, not a close match.
Yeah, 200-point win, 330 over 130 for Blue. Blue Alliance wins the Milford District.
Yeah. And with a couple of small scoring adjustments at the end, I think our final is going to be 160 for Red and 360 for Blue.
It's just been absolutely amazing. I just love being out there on the field, and just the energy during the finals is just absolutely amazing. And the second you see that score go up and you know you won, I literally cried. I've cried twice, yes.
And we are back again with some more power-up perspectives. Jim here, I'm Dan. Couple things this week. One of the things that I saw that's starting to play a bigger role is switch control. Teams come out, they're so focused on taking that scale, sometimes they stop paying attention, and by the time they look back, there's 5, 6 cubes in their switch taking it away from them.
Tactic that we saw really break out this week at a couple of tournaments was sending one of your offenders down to take away the enemy switch. In some cases, they don't even notice. You can get away with putting 4, 5, even 6 cubes in there, taking total control of their switch and 50% of the point flow. That's almost unrecoverable once you've done that.
Yeah, and that portal, that human player portal, is just so close. Like, we saw it in our finals match 2 at Milford. But just, you can get so many cubes so fast into there, it's really hard to defend that. The other thing I want to talk about, and we saw, unfortunately, the 33 robot taking damage at that Milford event, unable to fix it in time for finals match 2. But what we saw, and what was smart and expected from a couple of very experienced teams and experienced coaches, is picking a strategy that still gave you a chance to compete. It didn't work out, there were other mechanical issues, but changing to that battle for the switch, not trying to put all your eggs on the scale basket, I think was smart.
The Robo Cubs did have a tall lift, not as fast and aggressive as ours, but they could still back up the hot team and take the scale. So the decision between match 1 and match 2 was change up those roles, try to have us take the switch from the enemy. It didn't work out, but that was the best thing to do given the situation.
And that's always one of my pieces of advice is play within your alliance, do what you can actually do, not what you wish you can do. And that's the strategy you want when you're going into these elimination round matches. Well, that's another Power Up Perspectives. We'll see what we got next week.
All right, time for part 2 of our Power Up Props to the Bots. We're with Team 7178. We're asking one question. What's the coolest thing about your robot?
Definitely our arm. It's very unique. We have not seen someone like this before.
What's the coolest thing about your robot, Team 2145?
We can push other bots around, and it's the toughest one around.
Robozone will be right back with this week's rankings.
We have only to look into each other's eyes to see the story of our planet. But if we move a little to the left and consider the notion of adding the human element to the periodic table of the elements, we see the world for the first time. We work the new chemistry, and in turn, we learn the secret to a better life, where chemistry embraces humanity.
FANUC America is the #1 supplier of robots, CNCs, and factory automation. Our certified automation training prepares students for high-tech careers and advanced manufacturing. Manufacturers use automation to maximize productivity. That's why high-paying careers in advanced automation are in demand today. Our CERT program provides manufacturers and educators a STEM-based curriculum centered on robotics and automation training. Contact FANUC to learn more about our certified automation training programs.
I love working for Stryker.
I'm genuinely excited to come to work every day.
We support each other and look out for each other.
I love Stryker because we are like a family.
At Stryker, I own my career.
There are so many different places Stryker can take me in the next 5 years.
Together, with our
customers,
we are driven
to make
healthcare better.
Great people with a strong mission and values can accomplish great things together.
All right, Dan and Jim are back with this week's Hungry Howie's Top 10. I'm going to start off with my list. On this week, I got a couple of double event winners bubbling up to the top. In number 5, winner at Escanaba from Rochester Hills, 245, the Atom Bots. In my number 3 position, 35-36, the Heartland Electro Eagles, double winner, won at Milford, along with my number 2 pick, Brighton Techno Dogs, 37-07. And in my number 1 position this week, the Avondale Robo Jackets, 35-38, double event winner. Again, first time ever for their team. Great work, Avondale.
Yeah, man, I gotta say, Avondale passes the eye test too. They've won 2 events, but they've looked really good at both of them. I've got them at number 2, of course. 27-67, Strike Force. They're gonna be my number 1 until they lose. I'm sticking with that, so don't let me down this week. We've got a couple of other teams. You got 67 up there. 67 passes the eye test, but hasn't won an event yet. So they're on my top 25, but not quite making the top 10.
I'm always picking hot. I'm betting on hot.
Yeah, and it's always a mistake not to. So we'll see what they do in their next event and how the rankings change next week.
All right, so that's our show for this week. And wow, big upset here at the Milford District. Just shows that's why they play the game. And it's pretty nice that it's area schools here at their host district take home the blue banner. Congratulations to the Blue Alliance. All right. That's it for this week. First 5 district week. That's exciting. Next week, we're back to 4, and we are going to the west side. So we'll be coming to you from Grand Valley State University. So make sure you stay tuned and check that out every week right here on Robozone. Also, I want to let you know, follow us on social media, Robozone TV on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We're very active now. We want you to be a part of it, and we'll see you next week right here on Robozone.
Robozone is presented by First in Michigan, Michigan's premier provider of K-12 robotics programs. Kettering University, think differently, learn differently. Also brought to you by the DTE Energy Foundation. Blue Chip Talent, ridiculously good at advancing careers in IT and engineering. Stryker, discover your strengths and follow your passion with us. The Dow Chemical Company, the human element at work. Fanuc America, the leading supplier of robots, CNCs, and factory automation. Consumers Energy, encouraging your inner genius. Hungry Howie's Dough Raiser, your next fundraiser comes with flavored crust. And the Ford Steam Experience, inspiring the next generation of problem solvers.